Hello YouTubers, Tross here today, and today I'm playing some more Minecraft, and I'm gonna be doing a video here. Probably gonna be broken into a few parts, but I've been working on this for a while, and I'm gonna be calling this Minecart Transport Stations from A to Z, and it's all about minecarts and the stations you can build for getting around your world. And I've shown off a few of my minecart stations in the past, but I've got a pretty extensive collection of a bunch of different designs, and I'm going to be showing them off. So let's get started with the basics. So the basics are really, let's get some stuff here. Minecarts are relatively easy to make. You need 5 iron to make a cart. You just put it in a U shape here. You make rails easily with 6 pieces of iron and 1 stick, and you get 16 rails, which means you can make a whole bunch of rails very quickly and easily. There are also powered rails, and you make them with 6 pieces of gold, a stick, and 1 piece of redstone, and you get 6 powered rails out of that. So they're a little harder to come by. Definitely helps if you have a gold farm. Basically, carts will roll on rails, but will slow down, and you can have powered rails every so often to keep them going. Rails you can just place down, or you can place next to get a corner. Watch out for the bats. And the minecart will just go around the corners. You can also place rails like this, and this won't cause a problem. The minecart will just jump the corner basically, and continue going straight. But then, if you push it this way, it will follow the corner, like you would expect. So using this, you can kind of make one-way rail lines, like this is now basically one-way this direction, because if you try to come back in this direction, it goes over to this other track. Powered rails need a redstone signal, either from a torch, or you can actually use levers or buttons to power them. But basically, there's 2 ways they really work. One is like this. So if I put a minecart here, and I put a torch next to it to power it, because the minecart can only go in one direction, it will be boosted in that direction. As you saw here, it just stops. Unpowered minecart rails act as brakes. If the cart has 2 directions it can possibly go, powering the rail won't do anything. However, let's break that. If the cart is already going over that will give it another boost. The second way minecart rails can work, actually I should have left that, is on slopes. Now there's technically 2 ways this cart can go. So powering the rail will turn it from a brake to being not a brake, but it won't really boost the cart. That is, until gravity takes over. So since it's no longer acting as a brake, the cart will start rolling down, and then once it's moving, a moving cart over a booster track will get boosted faster. So it will actually start heading downhill and get boosted. And again, see, the unpowered one acts as a brake. The next thing about tracks and redstone So if I put a track here, well, there's 3 different ways it could connect. It could connect straight across, it could turn this way, or it could turn this way. Now, it will be one of the turns. It won't ever be straight across. But the way it would turn depends on the orientation of these. So in this case, it turned that way. If I put a redstone torch down here, though, let's actually get some redstone. Here we go. This will better demonstrate. If I power it, the turns the other way, and unpowering it turns it back. So you can use this to create switches. Now, as I said before, the way turns will turn naturally depends on the direction. So here we actually have all 4 directions. For reference, I am facing north right now. So you can see it kind of differs by direction. And let's see if I can place a block up here that should power them, or not. All right, let's quickly make a bigger version of that. So, again, this should work out to be the same. Oops, did one there. But now I can put the redstone and a torch. So you can see it kind of flips all around, and it's not possible to have them all powered or all unpowered and to have it be a circle if there's to have them all in the same state and be a circle, basically. So if you really want it to be a circle, like, to be able to come in and then get stuck going around, you have to have some powered and some not powered. So now this will, this is like a circle. So once you come in, it will keep going around. Yeah, so this is all about transport. So like I said, you want to right-click on the minecart to get in. Then it's your sneak key, which typically is your left shift to get out. You can push the minecart from behind to give it a little speed. You can get in and push in the direction you're looking, and that is less effective. It's about only half the speed, or maybe even a little less, of what you can push it. But that, if you do get stuck somewhere, that can keep you moving if you don't want to get out. That's basically the basics. So I'm going to get now into the first station type, which is typically end of the line stations or start of the line stations, but they're typically something like this. So you can get in, push a button, and be on your way. So I have this is basically the simplest. I have a few different designs over here. Again, this is the simplest I just made. Again, you use switches to power your power rails, but basic station. One way to go lets you get there. This is a little more advanced version. This is a dispenser, not a dropper. We got a hopper here, and let's fill the chest here. And what that really does is, through the hopper, it fills this dispenser. So you can just press a button and get a minecart, and then press the button to go. This is kind of similar. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Again, I had these filled, but I've changed versions here. This is a little different, but basically, hopper, dispenser again. But now we have a sticky piston that has a powered rail. But the cart can't go anywhere right now because it's both ways has a block. However, if you get in and push the button, you're automatically sent on your way. Key. And a new cart is automatically dispensed. It's a little weird interaction there. But basically, because of the torch here, it kind of triggers the dispenser when it comes back on, dispensing a new cart. Here, I'll not get in, but I'll show you what happens. The cart is pushed over, and then when it comes back, the new one dispensed. Basically, it's the block update of the piston retracting, makes the dispenser detect the torch and causes it to fire. I mean, there's 101 ways you can make an end station. These are just the simplest. I'll actually, well, I guess I should do the more complex ones now. So a lot of people, some people, think this is okay, but want a less conspicuous station. So they try to put as much as possible underground. However, as you saw, you either need a block back here, or you need a slope. Something like this, to get your cart going. Now, this trick I just did here, if you hold, normally for things like chests, for dispensers, hoppers, if you want to put something on their side, you can actually hold Shift, and when you right-click, it will place the item instead of accessing the dispenser. So that's kind of the same thing I did here. In holding Shift, let me put something on top of the crafting table without actually using the crafting table. Yeah, so a lot of people like or don't like to see their stations. So we'll skip all this stuff for now. So this is kind of a basic, almost nearly completely hidden station, as in our almost completely flat. It ends right here. So for this station, there's kind of two parts. You can see again, this is basically one way, and you'll go out and then pretend that goes out somewhere and then comes back. When you come back, you are redirected over here, and well, it looks like it's a little thorny, but it's not really the case. So what happens is you can step on this pressure plate here, and you can kind of see there's a dispenser here, and that will give you a cart. And at the same time, that would give you a cart if it had carts. Let's do that real quick. There's 4 in there. There's a piston that activates and gives you a backer. So you can get in, you're sent on your way, and then when you come back, the cart hits the cactus and gets broken, and then the hopper here automatically picks it up. Note, I still only have 2 in my inventory, which I had before, and there are now 4, and they're just in different locations. This is the complete redstone wiring for it. It's 1 repeater on 4, a little U of redstone here, and 1 torch. That's it. That is a hopper, not a hopper, a dropper, and then on top of the dropper is a dispenser. And basically what happens is when you stand on the pressure plate, it activates the redstone here, and that turns off this torch, which unpowers this, so that when the minecart is placed up here and the piston extended, it doesn't go anywhere. Also, by turning off this torch, it also activates the dropper here, which pushes one item up into the dispenser that's up here. That's because the block right next to it got powered. 4 redstone ticks later, this repeater is activated, and the repeater powers this dropper again, but it was already powered. But now it's strongly powered, which means it will cause, this piston to activate, and it causes the dispenser to activate. So the piston comes up, the dispenser dispenses the minecart while this is unpowered. When you get in the minecart, you step off the pressure plate. So this redstone turns off, the torch turns back on, but this will still be powered for 4 ticks, which means the piston will still be up for 4 more ticks. And that is enough to get your cart moving before the piston goes down. So once the cart starts moving, the piston can go down and you'll keep being accelerated, and that's how this all works. I'll show you what happens with the minecart when it hits the cactus by having this go without me getting in it. You see this takes off, and then it's a little hard to see there. It happens pretty quick, but I'll do it again. On occasion, you'll see it turn into an item momentarily and then disappear. I'm actually not seeing that happen right now. Kind of caught part of it there. Not sure if the video will catch it. There, that was clear, much clearer. And you can still see that there's 4 in the system. They get moved around, but it doesn't matter. The dispenser will pick one of them that is there. So that's how this works. But this is a little large, and it's a little, well, not flat. Here's some other designs. I'll show them real quick next. This is a decent design. It's completely flat, basically, and again, ported this world back from a, not sure exactly what happened, but there's supposed to be a lava bucket in here, and it's basically the same mechanism underneath, but this time it uses a lava bucket. Let's make sure we got some carts in here. Now this design, as you can see, is completely flat. It's a little more dangerous to use. It works the same way basically, but as you can see, it uses lava to dispense, or to break the cart. You can, on occasion, depending on your speed, wind up in the lava yourself and getting hurt. This version, or this version I should say, I'll even change mode here. So now I'm in survival. You can see I can run up against this. The block on top prevents you from actually getting injured. But that's not always the case with the lava version. So depending on the speed you come back, you can occasionally get a heart or 2 of damage. So that's why I don't like this version. I like, well, I don't even like this version. I like these versions. It's basically the same thing, much more compact. And again, before I go on to the next part, I will probably change that. And you can see there is a slight delay in the launch, but if you replace these, I'm using wood pressure plates here just so they contrast well. Stone pressure plates will activate or set you going about a half-second faster. So leave wood buttons and pressure plates hold or active for a second and a half, where stone ones are only active for a second. And this is same thing. Yeah. Oh, I should say, yeah. These were. This is the first one. This is the same thing. That's what these designs were basically inspired by Sethbling, Frumple1, and Dogem. So, you know, check out their videos. They have, well, Sethbling's original one basically used tripwire, and basically people came up with better ways. I believe he himself came up with a better one that used lava. But yeah, so these are some more one-way or one exit stations. But then I thought, well, can we do something where we don't need this side? I mean, even though this is, you know, narrower, we still have to come off to the side. So, can we do something where we don't need to come off to the side? And, well, after thinking about it, I figured, well, what if we had, instead of the piston coming from the bottom, what if we had it coming from the top? We'd need a double piston extender so you could get under it still. But then we could still have the track go, and then go into the cactus. So, this is what I came up with. This is Minecraft with Dummies double piston extender, because, I mean, so many people have done double piston extenders. I didn't feel like making my own. I thought, let me look for some good ones. And, oh, I slipped off there. So you can on any of these, you can stand on the piston, stand on the pressure plate as long as you want, and until you actually get in, it won't launch, retract in time, and then it collects the card again. So this is that's how it works, basically. This is basically the same system, but now this is using a double piston extender designed by TT Lemon. It's one block shorter, but it now needs a hopper-dropper combo to send out a pulse. But basically works the same way. Let's put some carts in there again. What happened there? Oh, that was working. This should be the same design here. This is... Here I just have the power going up that little thing here set off by one block. That's strange. I wonder if it's... Had this working in the 1.8 pre-release. Should be working. I know why it's not working here. Let's put an item in and cycle it again, because for some reason all the items disappeared. There we go. One item, not 63 items. There, that should do it. That's really strange. There we go. Well, it's working over here. Don't know what I did to mess it up. Let's fix this guy. But basically, both of these designs are supposed to be used something like this. You're in your underground cave or maybe a castle or something, and just put a few minecarts in. That works great. Same thing over here. Let's stick a few minecarts in. Well, this one similarly broken, but got this one to work. I don't know what the difference is at the moment. Have to debug it. But yeah, that's basically, they are completely invisible. They appear to be only one line big, although there is some stuff behind and above. Works pretty well. Or so I thought. Then I thought, well, why do you even need above and two pistons? That was stupid. You could just have one on the side. So imagine this in a wall as well. Let's put some carts in there. Much simpler. Same thing if you're hiding behind the wall. You know, looks the same, but much simpler, less resource intensive. We're basically using the repeater to push a signal through to power this to get the piston. But now it's a single line. There's a few other single line versions that I saw. Well, these are... Sorry, I forgot whose video I saw. But I did make some modifications. So this is... Instead of going down like I had on all these, why don't we go up? So this one has a dispenser facing up still. And you need two hoppers. And redstone is a bit simplified here. You got one dot of redstone. It powers this block and that block. This block has the repeater coming off of it. This block has a torch, which is what's powering the rails. The versions I saw, you stepped on it and basically the rails never turned off and the cart just went and you had to get in it before it left. I have this design fixes that, or at least changes it so you can now step on it and get in at your leisure. You'll be sent on your way, and then the cart will hit and recollect. So you'll see there's B5 in there. This is basically the same, except instead of facing up, we're facing forward. And at this point, the redstone is really simple. There's not even a repeater anymore. The pressure plate directly powers the dispenser, and then after one tick, the torch turns off. So the cart does slightly begin to move, but then is stopped. And this obviously won't give you as big of a boost, but you can put another powered rail to get a bigger boost. But it works just the same. So that's it for these. Basically, no hands, just walk on it, and it auto collects your cart stations. But some people don't like these. There's too much stuff, even though it's flat. It's not, well, especially even the lava-powered one here. Even though it's flat, it's not flat enough. There's still things. There's rails, there's things that pop up. Well, this one's not going to make it back, but... So, there's one even flatter version. Or, there's several versions, but one basic idea, and it's what is called a Hipster Minecart station, which means you don't see any redstone beforehand, and in fact, with these, you don't see any rails even. And I have them a ways off, kind of in my strange or esoteric or exotic designs. But here's two different versions. One is by TT Lemon, and I actually kind of made the other one my own design. But it's using kind of common stuff. Basically a double piston extender and a few other circuits. I'll just fill both of these. You can kind of have these buttons anywhere. You would basically put them in a wall, and you'd have this close to the wall. The chest is just a refill, and yeah, it's completely flat. You don't need the torches; they're just there to light this area up. But you press the button to call a cart, and you get a cart, and it just pops right out of the ground. And then you get in the cart and you push this button. And again, this can be, anywhere you want around here. It just has to be within arm's reach. Push the button, you're dropped in, you're riding on the rail, and we're actually heading over to the other one. And looks like we had a small problem. Sure. Don't mind the issue. Basically, these are what those are like. And, with all the extra stuff removed. Basically, this button here is just powering a dispenser here that puts a cart, an empty cart, on with enough powered rails to get it going over a sensor rail, detector rail, and that's what powers the coming down. And basically the same thing over here, although this one apparently sort of broke itself. I was supposed to do that. Anyway, it's probably gonna... Yeah, I'm not sure why. As I said, I had this working, but then I switched what version it was running in, and it's like it's not being pulled down a second time. Basically, both of these have a double piston extender in the center, and just are activating it different ways. This actually has a circuit. This is Mumbo Jumbo's double piston extender. Then there's a little. Both of these again have a. Once it's down, we got a piston over here that pushes the powered rail on top of the block that's pulled down, and basically the powered rail slides underneath the cart, and then because it links up here, it gets powered, the cart goes on its way, this then pulls back, and then the double piston extender goes back up. And this one is breaking because of a missing item. That's the explanation. Let's try that now. There we go. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. When you come back in, though, you don't want the powered rail there, because that, if you hit the powered rail, you kind of bounce off the back block and come back out. So when you're coming in, you trigger two lines. This line is what triggers the retraction, the pull down, but this line turns off this power here, and you see that pulls that block down. With that block down, this redstone can't power, or won't power this block, which the piston is on, so this piston won't be activated, and so then it looks just like that. Or actually I should have probably just done this first place. It looks just like that. And so when you come back in, the rail here isn't pulled, or isn't pushed under. This basically operates the same way. It just has a more compact double piston extender. So that's it for end of line stations, or beginning of line stations, I should say. I'm going to fix up the rest of these stations and continue in the next part of the video. One thing I should mention, or back at the beginning when I was doing the basics, I totally forgot about this. I mean, this is just the kind of the basic cart station I showed before, but instead of having a block at the bottom, I have a glass block. And, you know, it is getting powered. It's not working. Glass blocks are not really considered solid. I mean, you won't suffocate in them. And so they can't be used as a backer block or push-off block for powered rails. I believe the same thing applies for glowstone. So let's try that right now. Yep, so any non-solid block you can't use as the back of a rail. As I said, you know, I do have one more basics thing to get. Obviously, you can cross rails by making bridges, but sometimes you don't want to do that. So this is a flat bidirectional crossing. And it looks complicated, and it actually kind of is. If you want to make this turn another way, what you really have to do is build that way first and then put in the others. But because this has a turn like every other block, it takes a lot of finessing to get these right. But basically what this does is, let's see, come like this. And this, if this is a two-way rail, and this is a two-way rail, well, each of these here is now one-way, with the cart rider riding on the right-hand side from either direction. So what this does is does that to both sides, and then has all these corners configured so that you'll cross straight across and not be turned. So you can see that cart goes straight across. That cart will go straight across, and then both of these I can send back, and they manage to go straight across. Now, if you didn't have this complex, and you had something just like this, you'll go straight across here, but trying to go back, you get turned. And kind of the same thing here. You'll go straight across here, but going back, you'll get turned. But by splitting him into different directions, you can maneuver it so that doesn't happen. Or it takes up more space, but if for any reason, you need a flat level crossing, this is the way to do it. The only potential problem is if two carts try to cross at the same time, they may wind up colliding, but that shouldn't happen that often. So that's the end of part 1. Part 2 will have stations that have more than one way to leave from. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.